I see those big, bright, shiny red trucks. They're just a-trucking down the road. Those big, bright, shiny red trucks just a-looking for another load. Well, it's a family tradition, any Rocky Mountain day. Our fathers before us showed us the way. We worked for asphalt cowboys and concrete kings, but that's never been a problem, because we got diesel in our veins. We've got diesel in our veins. I see those big, bright, shiny red trucks.
What's up, JFW family? Welcome back to the Channel 23 podcast. The purpose of this podcast is to reach out and touch the fleet, to engage and inform everyone with all things JFW. Good morning, Jim White, Brother Dave White, and Super Dave Weldon.
How's it going, everybody?
Morning, everybody.
Top of the day.
It's going great over here. So good. We're going to say the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Father God, we thank you for the opportunity to go out and do some trucking today. We pray for the safety of our fleet, all of their families, and all the other families and individuals we come across on the road today. We pray for patience and making a good, safe decisions. We pray to be accident-free and that we all make it back to the comfort of our homes this evening. We pray for healing and 100% recovery for all of our family members that are ill. No matter what, we trust you, God, and it's in Jesus' name we pray.
Amen.
As a reminder, anything you hear on today's podcast is not the opinion of JFW's. It's just the men in this room's expressed opinions.
Some days we express it too.
I have a feeling we might. Episode 221 had 254 downloads. We are at a total of 111.2 thousand total downloads. I think when we hit 115, we should have breakfast pizza.
Pizza breakfast.
Yes. And then we have 908 followers.
Woohoo!
Yes, sir. Went to this 7-Eleven over here this morning. Remember when that homeless person attacked the service truck and got into a fight with... No, it wasn't Ricky. It was it Jose?
It was Jose, yeah.
Jose, yeah. So I'm in there and there's a little, whatever's going on, and this bum, he threw a can of soda at me. But I'm okay. It was a soft drink.
Ba-da-ba.
Oh, man. Well, I only brought one with me, and it's almost better than that, Jim.
Almost?
Almost.
Okay, let's go.
What do you call a hen looking at a pile of lettuce?
Huh.
Hungry.
Egg salad.
Chicken sees a salad.
Oh, you were close. Oh, chicken Caesar salad. There we go. You got the salad in there. That's pretty.
Yeah, you were close,
good.
Super Dave.
Yeah.
Your brain's working.
Yeah.
What do you got, BD?
Well, as you guys know, or probably heard this weekend, Chuck Norris passed away.
Yeah.
So I have a Chuck Norris tribute.
Let's do it.
I have a dozen Chuck Norris one-liners.
Let's go.
So Chuck Norris doesn't flush the toilet. He scares the shit out of it. When Chuck Norris was born, he drove his mom home from the hospital.
Dang.
When Chuck Norris slices onions, the onions cry.
Dang.
Chuck Norris counted to infinity twice. When the boogeyman goes to sleep at night, he checks his closet for Chuck Norris.
Dang.
Chuck Norris uses ribbed condoms inside out, so he gets the pleasure.
Wow.
Oh.
Time waits for no man unless that man is Chuck Norris. There is no theory of evolution, just a list of animals Chuck Norris allows to live.
Dang.
This is one of my personal favorites here. It just gets me every time. Death once had a near Chuck Norris experience. Chuck Norris knows Victoria's Secret.
Nice.
When Chuck Norris was in middle school, his English teacher assigned an essay, "What is courage?" He received an A+ for turning a blank page in with only his name at the top.
Yeah.
And the last one, the flu has to get a Chuck Norris shot every year.
Those are good. GR told me, I don't know if I'll get it right, but he said Chuck Norris actually died 20 years ago. Death just finally had the courage to come get him.
Oh, I wish I would have ended with that one. I hadn't heard that.
There you
Jim.
go.
That's a good
You
one,
just
man.
did.
Good
Yeah,
cat.
I'm going to struggle following up with that. I mean, I did read an article, though, that he was very humbled by that whole thing.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, when he started, I mean, because it's been going on for years.
Oh,
Years, yeah.
It's just like, wow, I just feel honored and humbled that it took on a life of itself, you know. And could you imagine being that guy and having those things said about you, you know?
Right.
It's like, you know.
I wonder if at his funeral they do something like that. Like his kids are like,
Yeah.
go for it.
So I just came up with some riddles. I thought riddles would be kind of fun today. What comes once a minute, twice in a moment, but never in 1,000 years? That's an old one.
Once a minute. I don't remember.
The letter M, right? Minute, moment, 1,000, right? What tastes, this one's pretty good. What tastes much better than it smells?
Wow.
You can go a lot of places with that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a pass.
Your tongue.
Ah,
And then this one made me think for a minute. I'm like, wait a minute, that's wrong. But what word becomes shorter when you add 2 more letters?
Short.
Yes, good job, BD. You got it. Short.
nice.
Yep.
Oh, those are good. My brain's not at that level.
Yeah, not firing today. I'm not.
Pass the caffeine, please. But I am excited. Like, the weather's been outstanding.
Phenomenal, isn't it?
Did you guys water this weekend?
I turned my sprinklers on last weekend, Jim.
Yeah, I'm going to do it
Yeah.
this weekend.
I did too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely looking like spring. I was so excited over the weekend, I almost wet my plants.
Yeah, I actually went on to the town's webpage just to check, and they have no
No water restrictions yet?
no nothing.
Wow.
Like, I'm turning them on.
Rumor has it, Erie, you can't water in Erie. They'll come turn your water off.
That's what they say.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't know where they get their water from or lack of.
You know, and I thought about it because I'm pretty sure Erie is on the same, like, Northern Colorado Water Conservancy District as Lafayette, Longmont, all those towns up in that area, you know, even Greeley.
You would think.
But I think Erie has grown so much in the past 10 years.
There's a lot of new residential.
I mean, it's
there right
it's
now.
huge now, but I don't think their water system is kept up.
I know I can't keep up with their prices up there. Those houses are
Right?
getting
Yeah.
It's crazy.
pricey place to live. New employees. We have Sean Williams and Jose Castellanos. Welcome to the fleet, men.
Yeah, welcome.
Welcome, guys.
Anniversaries. Mike Cisneros hit 3 years on Sunday the 22nd.
Happy anniversary, Mike.
Yeah, Mike.
Congratulations, Mike.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then Lexi Brown hit 4 years, or will hit 4 years on the 28th.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
great.
Awesome.
Congratulations,
Awesome,
Lexi.
awesome.
Which is this Saturday. Birthdays, Javon Rizzo. He has a birthday this Saturday, the 28th. And then family birthday celebration. Troy Holmes' wife, Vicky, had a birthday this past Monday. And Lee Taylor's daughter, Skylar, has a birthday this Friday, the 27th.
Happy birthday,
birthday.
Vicky.
Right.
And Skylar.
Right? Skylar's a girl's name, right?
Mm-hmm. I think so.
L-A-R? Sure. If not,
Unless it's a boy's
Well, it
name.
said daughter. You read daughter, so.
oh, well, I wrote that.
Oh.
Hey,
Well, I'm in it with you then, yes.
if
It's a girl's name.
it puts in writing, it's the truth.
I believe everything I read.
I believe everything I write. It's funny. Hey, I want to give a shout out to all the drivers who are engaged with this show and the Knowledge Challenge. Last week, I had 2 questions that are similar, and man, my phone blew up because one of them, the answer is the most correct answer, period.
Right.
And the other was the most correct answer for the question. But people were like, hey, you know, and the question was, how often do we upload our tickets, right? And there was a time not too long ago where we had to say, upload your tickets every day. But now it's upload your tickets every load.
Right.
Both are correct, but upload your tickets every load is the most correct. But yeah, it was interesting. So I was just happy to see so many people were like
engaged.
Yeah, like the right answer is not really on this question. What should I do? And so
Yeah.
good job, everybody.
That's good. Yeah.
Yep. And then Louis Del Real wants to give a shout out to Super Dave. He said Shaggy. I'm assuming he means Scooby. And the mechanic in the red shop, they were helpful when I was changing my mud flap on my trailer yesterday.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I'll tell you guys, it could be anything. Any one of you people could come up against this. He was trying to change a mud flap that hadn't been taken off in years. And those bolts were rusty. He rounded them off. And one in particular was like brutal. And I'm like, let's just go get Matt and have him cut them off. Oh, he didn't know he could do that, you know? So Matt came out with his grinder and cut it off, punched it out, and we were on our way. So
is that senior or junior?
Junior.
Cool.
Yep.
Thanks, junior.
Yeah, sometimes when I run into them, Dave, it's with the heads aren't rounded off. It's better when they're just to break them, right?
Sure.
You snap them off.
Generally, they break.
Yeah, you just, that's about to break, and you just break it and keep going.
Yeah, he couldn't get it even that far, right?
Sure.
But one thing I want to give a shout out to Matt, because he didn't blink an eye. He dropped what he was doing. He came out and had Luis going in, 5 minutes.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Put the liquid wrench on it, and off we went.
Boom. All right. Any shout outs from you gentlemen? Brother Dave?
No, sir.
I knew I shouldn't have asked. Jim, sound like you might have one.
Yeah, I do have a couple. First, I want to mention me and Dave went to, because we didn't have the podcast afterwards. Anyway, Amber's mom's eulogy or funeral last week. And just want to mention what a great job her kids did. I know people probably have not met her kids or won't meet her kids, but to give a eulogy and a speech and stuff like that for your grandma and somebody that's been missing out of their lives for the last 7 years, they just did a great job. Gives you a lot of hope for the youth and the kids, and what a great job Amber's doing. And to go through that and have somebody that's been missing and they find them after all those years, and it's just kind of such a weird situation to be there, but they got closure on that part. So just wanted to shout out to Amber, if I know she listens once in a while.
Yep.
And then I wanted to give a shout out to Elvin and to brother Dave yesterday. Elvin was having some problems calibrating or adjusting his gauges. In the truck, he said he was loaded with so much or a certain amount over at Coors and wanted to know about going back. And the thing about all that is him doing it on the company radio. And I know that's, excuse me, exposing yourself to everybody on the company radio, but everybody can hear, everybody can help. There was so much information that was given. One of the big things was everybody said the scale's not zeroing at Coors and to zero at first. And, me and Dave, we don't know that.
Right.
And that would have really messed up Elvin if we're trying to help him and we don't know that.
Right.
And, and then one of the drivers that jumped in there said that he tried to zero the scale at Coors last week and it didn't zero. So there's another problem. So what is it at? And it was like minus, 900 pounds or something. Well, you can figure that into what you're doing, and calculate it. But, shout out again, Dave went over this stuff and Elvin was willing to learn and go over it. And he's been driving for us for a while. And, even if you haven't messed with your gauges, you forget what they do and how it works and different stuff like that. So anyway, thanks Elvin for, being willing to ask questions out on the radio, put yourself out there, and brother Dave for helping and going over the stuff that's important. And then I believe did we correct it? Dion, was it 46? Is that what we were 42?
Not sure on the truck number, but Dion Jones,
he had some problems with the lights. We happened to notice that the lights were out on his truck when he left the yard, particularly the tail lights on the back of the tractor. And he just didn't get what we were talking about. He even stopped and wasn't sure what lights. He said he did the light tests and different stuff. And he came back, had a conversation with brother Dave, figured it out. He, educated himself. Dave was there to help educate him. And it was a learning process. And that's what we have to do to be better. And somebody that's willing to go, hey, I got it, or they were always like that, or no, it's not, or anything. That was not the attitude. So Dion, I appreciate your honesty and wanting to learn and figure out what's going on. And, along with that, I want to throw out there that test sequence on a lot of the trucks, it flashes the lights on the back of the frame, the taillights. I call them the taillights on the tractor. But as it's flashing, if you're not really paying attention, you don't notice that they go dark in between the flashes. That means your tail side of the light is not working. When you run that sequence, it should flash and then stay lit at the lesser color.
Just a little dimmer.
Yep. But it should not go out, not black.
Right.
That means you have no tail lights.
Right.
So please, unless you're really paying attention, don't trust that test sequence.
Yep.
Pull on your lights and, make sure your tail side's all working possibly, and then hit the test sequence. That'll give you your flasher side of it. It might be easier to follow. So, but yeah, just the shout out to those guys. Here they are, trying to learn, and we love somebody that wants to learn and be better here instead of excuses.
I want to piggyback on that a little bit, because one of the things we've had with that test button is a couple scenarios, meaning a lot of people think that they may have something on the dash that tells them a light is out. We have nothing on any dash of any truck, to the best of my knowledge, that says, hey, your left front turn signal doesn't work, or your mid turn signal on your trailer doesn't work. That test isn't for that. And we've had that. That's been a common theme with people. They think that the truck will tell them what light is out. It doesn't do that. And then just to clarify what Jim was saying is, you need to verify on the tractor tail lights at the back of the frame of the tractor that you have turn signal lights and park lights or marker lights. One will be lit a little, and then obviously your turn or your brake will be very bright. So you have two brightness differentials on the back of that tractor. And I just want to clarify that. And then also
is it three really? Because you got your tail lights or your parking lights, the marker lights, you got your flashers, and then the brake lights.
This is where it gets confusing, Jam.
Okay.
That's all in one light.
Yeah.
Right? So, but brake and turn are the same bulb.
They're the same bulb.
Same element. You know what I mean? They
Gotcha.
share that. But the back of the trailer doesn't. One light is a turn signal. The other light is a brake.
Yep.
Both are markers.
Sure.
Right? So you have to do the same thing on the trailer. You have to be sure your marker light is working and your turn signal, your brake light. And those are the issues we run into, right?
Gotcha.
The majority of everyone's turn signals or brake lights are working, just their markers are out. So that's where it gets a little technical. You just have to pay attention.
Sure.
Like Jim's saying, if it goes dark in between those turn signals, there's a problem. It can't go dark. The lights need to stay on.
Yeah, I think one thing that people need to remember is you got to wait a minute. It takes a little while to get from high beams to low beams, and then four ways, and then running lights. You can't just run around the truck and see everything. You have to wait.
It seems like it takes forever, especially at the end of the day.
And then I just want to throw in there, we kind of learned a little something on the air gauges on your axle weights. We're wondering, when people calibrate those, if when they press the buttons and it goes to flashing, that people believe that is the adjustment.
Like it self-adjusts.
It self-adjusts. It does not self-adjust. When that goes to flashing, once you're to that step to adjust them, one button increases your weight, the other button decreases your weight. So once it goes to flashing, increase it or decrease it, adjust it whichever direction it needs to go, and then just stop. And it will hold that. It'll flash a few more times. If you don't touch it in, 10 seconds, it goes to the weight you entered and stays there.
And what weight are you adjusting it to, Dave?
What the axle weights are that I've just verified.
Right. That's what it's not a like 80,000, or it's not 50,000, or it's not 34,000.
Right. It's what your axles are that you just verified on a scale, which you can do every single load at virtually every pit. Or I suppose I shouldn't say that, but any pit that has a display, you can check your axle weights in less than a minute. I mean, it's super easy.
And you should.
Yeah, that's the verification. So, you need to adjust them. Once you start that calibration process and it's flashing, you adjust it to what you just did the math on, to what it needs to be.
Yeah, there is confusion with that, with more than one person, because I had a driver just the other day, same thing. He's like, I'm calibrating my gauges, but they seem off. And it's like, well, how do you calibrate them? And he's like, I hold the buttons down. I'm like, okay, are you loaded or empty? And he's like, what? Like, can't you just do it anytime?
I mean, that's another great question.
I was just going
do
to
it
say.
loaded.
Yeah.
It's way more accurate loaded than empty.
Yeah.
I mean,
So-
it can be done empty, but just like Dave said,
Sure don't recommend it,
no,
right, Jim?
No, because you're after what's it doing when it's loaded? That's what
Yeah.
you're after, and that's what you're asking it for. Hey, and then just for anybody that's listening or anything that might have these gauges, from another company or whatever, aren't they Airway, Dave? Do you remember the brand, or am I making that up?
No. Airway is that one scale company, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, that gives you the scale.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then,
These are. God, I just had to look for somebody and I gave him.
Yeah,
I can't
sorry,
remember what it is.
it put you on the spot. And then Scooby also brought up that when he's been loading salt and stuff, there's a little bit of confusion on how fast it reads it, the 60 seconds or the 1 minute, or can you touch upon that, Dave? Because I haven't.
I thought there was 2 settings for that, and I might be wrong. I'm just asking.
Yeah, one's instant,
Instant.
which is 1 second.
Yeah.
And the other one,
It is-
I didn't think it was a minute. I thought it was 30 seconds, but either way, a minute and 30 seconds.
on how fast it reads.
Yeah.
Right, Dave?
Yeah. When you're loading, I would want it on 1 second.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So it's
So
fast.
it's live.
Yeah.
Yep.
And if I'm traveling down the road, so that number's not constantly changing as you're hitting bumps, I would leave
flip-
it on the 30 second or the
Sure. Flip it the other way. Okay.
Any other shout outs, guys?
I'm good, Jim.
You shouted out.
I'm shouted out.
All right. All right, meat and potatoes. Getting into the discussion topics. Please check your truck for tow hooks. When I say tow hooks, I mean one tow hook. Every truck should only have one. We don't want you hooking two up to the bumper. In the past, you could fold a bumper like that. You just need one, but you want to make sure you have all the pieces for that one. That's going to be the part that inserts into your bumper. That's going to be the pin that locks it into your bumper. And then the pin that's going to hold your chain or rope or whatever to the tow hook. So make sure you have all those pieces.
1 tow hook and 2 pins.
Yeah, I mean, it is a good point to be familiar with it. Just make sure how it works, where the pin goes, how do you get it in there, and if you don't, ask somebody.
Yep.
And then if you happen to run into it, which that's the reason we're asking this, if you need to be towed, another person should have a tow hook. There should be another Kenworth fairly close around you or coming in or whatever. Don't hesitate to ask. Don't try to hook it to the bumper or the axle or anything else. But, again, you should have a tow hook in your truck and be able to learn how to use it or know how to use it. Same thing for chaining up.
Yep.
So not a difference.
Tow hooks are real easy, but you should familiar yourself with it because you don't want to figure it out when you're upset that you're stuck.
Jam, I've run into a saying recently that I've been using a lot lately, and it's like,
Actually,
it's not a problem until it's a problem.
It's no problem till it is.
Right? And when you're stuck and you need towed out and you're like, I don't have a tow pin. Why?
Yeah.
And the thing,
Well-
my question, where do they go?
That's the thing. That's the
Right.
Who takes them? Where do they go? Every truck has one when we in-service it
right.
and it goes out on the road. Where do they go?
I don't need this.
Right? I'm so confused on what happens to them.
Yeah, and wasn't it the Freightliners? I don't know if the Western Stars, but they had a spot on the frame.
They did, Jim.
I mean,
We
it was-
never lost those.
it
They were
was-
always there.
It was awesome.
It was awesome.
But I know I had to use it one time. I couldn't find it. It was like right in my face.
Oh, that's fun.
Right?
I was looking all over the place. I'm like, this shit, they're right on the frame.
Yeah. I just wanted to give a shout out to Kendrick for this weekend. He covered a lot. We had a lot of things going on this weekend and a lot of issues and hiccups. And he was our point guard. He was on it, and the whole safety team was involved. So it was great to see. I felt really guilty. You know what I mean? Not being able to be a part of that. I had, personal stuff going on with Sam in town. And I was just like, I'm not a part of that helping out. So I felt kind of guilty, but anyway, I was appreciative of everyone that took care of everything, and shout out to Ken. He's also got some other things going on too, as well that he had to run his own safety team on. So,
Yeah.
you know what I mean. He's got it. He's juggling a lot of balls in the air right now, and I just shout out to Kendrick.
Yeah, definitely a nod to Kendrick because I definitely felt like we had a point man taking care of things, which was really cool.
Yep.
So
Yep.
good
Yeah,
stuff.
it was good stuff.
Next on the agenda, Saturday coverage. When you're asking for somebody to cover you on a Saturday, in the notes, if you could put the name of the truck driver and the number of the truck in the notes, that would be helpful. When I approve those time offs and I make that note, it's not visible to dispatch, where if you put in the notes, hey, Brother Jim's covering for me, they'll see that right away, and it just makes it easier for them. Let's see, Dale wanted to talk about staying hydrated in the winter and the summer. We are approaching summer now, or spring anyway, but man, drink plenty of water. It's already a pretty unhealthy situation to just be driving around all day. You definitely want to stay hydrated, and, when it gets real hot out, maybe drink some, hydration salts, actually.
Yeah.
Like LMNT, or there's some other ones out there as well. Just good idea to keep your electrolyte level up.
Drink water before we run out of it.
Oh, yeah. Plus, there's not going to be any. So, let's see. I'll post this up today. Vasa Fitness does give us a slight discount. It's not like really a corporate account, but it is a corporate discount. And you can use our code if you've been thinking about getting in shape, or you already have a gym membership, even at Vasa, but you want to save a couple bucks a month. Let me know. I will make an announcement today with their information.
Yeah,
but
great.
yeah, good way to go in there. And I believe there may not be setup fees either when you go in, because usually there's I don't want to misspeak here, but usually there's, a joining fee and then your monthly fee. So yeah.
Good.
And then Dale also wanted to talk about the dress code while we're out there. Just so you know, when we are at the pits, we are under MSHA, which is like OSHA, but for mining. Okay. And they have very, very strict regulations. If you break down in a pit, you can't even get out of your truck if you don't have the proper stuff on, which would be pants, a shirt with sleeves, safety vest, hard hat, probably safety glasses. They probably want you to have gloves and boots. Right. The pits, they also want us to be in proper PPE. There's a little bit of leniency there. But if you are a driver that wants to wear shorts to work, our rule or policy is bring pants with you, and they could just be sweatpants. And when you get out of that truck, just throw them on. If you could see there's a relaxed culture at that plant, maybe just have the pants with you in case somebody says something to you. Or if you know that they're a little bit stricter, definitely bring them with you. Just slap them on when you're getting out of the truck.
Yeah, make sure you put your PPE on also.
Yeah.
Getting in and out of the truck. That's, if you have everything and you're geared up, like you said, Jam, might be a little lax, but if you're geared up the rest of the way, the shorts might be ignored a little bit because you've made an effort to have some with you too.
Yeah. Yeah, we do get calls every once in a while. Your driver got out of the truck without his hard hat on. You got the vest but no hard hat, or you got the hard hat and no vest. Let's just put them both on and not get those phone calls. Because what happens is if we start getting those phone calls, then somebody looks and they're like, oh, they don't have a vest. Oh, they don't have a hard hat. Oh, they don't have their safety glasses. Oh, they don't have their gloves, right? Instead of that guy looks squared away, just like you're saying, Jim.
I mean, ultimately, we're in construction.
Yes.
You know what I mean? We're not over the road. You shouldn't be wearing shorts and flip-flops.
Right.
Yeah. So, I mean, it kind of comes with the territory, I guess.
I agree. Please make sure, and this is from JR in regards to the EDVIRs on Samsara, please make sure to follow through the complete workflow in Samsara for the EDVIRs, on duty, off duty, leaving the asset, etc. Many drivers are having hours of service violations at the end of the day because when they sign out and do their inspections, they close the app thinking they're done. If you do not let the app log out properly and wait until the app takes you back to the login screen, it will not save your off-duty status and keeps you on duty for the whole night or weekend. In addition, it will not unassign a vehicle from you in Samsara. In effect, anyone who moves that truck will affect the driver's hours of service, safety score, efficiency score, etc. So yeah, if you don't do it properly and then I go to move your truck or do something, that counts as your driving as well. If you end up taking on a job to go outside the 150 air mile limits where hours of service are mandatory, you are going to be confused and possibly upset that you are in multiple violations for hours of service. And if you don't pay attention to this and go through a port and they ask to see this, you may and possibly will get not only a DOT violation, but also shut down until fixed. Yeah, so logging out is very, very important, especially if you're going out of town, because it'll just take your hours away from you.
Absolutely.
And then you show up.
It's a problemo.
Yeah, it doesn't look good. And, if you're not super familiar with what we do and how to explain it, and your e-log is showing something different, I mean, you could just pretty much count on.
And I guess I know you're not done with reading this, Jam, but we're here to help. Don't hesitate coming and asking one of us for help.
Right.
I mean, that's our job. We are driver support.
Yep.
You guys are the front line, and we are here to support you. We want you to be successful. We want to help you. So don't anybody hesitate in coming and asking. Get on the radio if you're not sure. Whatever. We don't care. We're here to help. So let us help out.
Yeah, and any questions too. If you don't, we had a meeting with a driver last night, and he made a decision on there based on his last company's policies and what he thought they would be mad at, which is the exact opposite of what we would be mad at, So
I get it.
Yeah, I mean, basically he pulled over to take a little nap, which is fine by us.
Absolutely.
If you're tired and you think you're going to fall asleep driving, we want you to pull over.
Absolutely.
Well, at his last company, they didn't like that, so he did something that wasn't super cool. And I'll just tell you guys, he put a piece of tape over his camera because he thought we would be mad if we saw him taking a nap. We'd rather you just take a nap. We won't be mad, but do not ever tamper with that camera. That's the bigger deal to us.
Right.
So he was like, oh, I thought you guys would be mad. I was like, did you think about calling us? No, I didn't think about that, So just give us a call. We're human. We understand, and we're here to help.
And it's about safety.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll never be mad for you taking a nap.
Yep.
We'll never be mad at you making a decision to be safer than unsafer. Yeah. All right. More on EDVIRs. When you select a vehicle or trailer, when the inspection for said asset comes up and it has prior write-ups, they should be listed for you. If you see any, please do not repeat the write-up on your own inspection, as this doubles up the same defect already listed on the shop's defect list. Now, this is the opposite of what we used to do, so I can understand where there's a little confusion, because we used to say, write it up every day. But now that we are electronic, that stays in the defect list, so you don't need to write it up every day. Please be sure to follow through the entire workflow. Signing in your workflow finishes when you get to the home screen that shows your safety score, hours of service, etc. When signing out, the workflow ends when the app closes out correctly, and you do not shut down the app until it gets back to the login screen. Be patient and let the app work. Otherwise, you will be getting violation notifications. I can correct this, however, it is preventable. All right. We have noticed that some trucks have gotten out of hand on interior cleanliness. With the winter over, we will be resuming truck cab interior inspections. As a reminder, 3 failed inspections will disqualify you from your safety bonus for up to 3 months. Please clean up all your trash and wipe down all surfaces of dust and grime, dash, windows, front side and rear, doors, kick panels, etc. Yeah, I mean, that's great, but man, this is where you work. And then the thing is if you don't come to work, somebody else is working in your office. And when they don't want to touch your steering wheel or your controls, I mean, that's a problem. Some of these trucks, you could eat off the floor mats, and some of them you don't even want to sit down on the seat. So clean them up, guys and girls. We used to have a couple guys that you could pay around here to do it for you.
Yeah. It helps.
Pretty sure we still do.
I mean, they might be new ones, but yeah, there's people. Yeah, and if you like detailing trucks, I think some of these guys used to get $40 to $60 for somebody to clean their cab. So keep that in mind. Good way to make a little extra money. The rider program, everybody, please remember that when you have a rider, we want a little bit more notice than the morning of. Yeah, we would like to know at least the night before. This way, dispatch can make the proper notes. If it was an emergency and, your babysitter quit and you have nowhere to send your kid for the day and you got to bring him in, that's one thing. But if you know the night before that you're going to have a rider, please let us know. And then also keep in mind, riders are not allowed out of the trucks at pits or plants. If they got to go to the bathroom, you got to stop at a truck stop or somewhere off of our customer's property. They also need to wear their seatbelts at all times. That's not just for the driver. We've had that before where, drivers following all the JFW policies, but wifey's not, or the kids or whoever. So make sure they adhere to all of our rules and regulations as well.
Treat it like it's a privilege.
Because it is.
And it is.
Yeah.
A lot of companies do not. When I tell people that you can bring a rider, they're like, oh, really? Oh, well, my last company never let us have anybody in the truck. So it is a privilege.
Same thing with pets. I remember when you told me, oh, yeah, you could bring your dog with you. I was like, what? Because that solved a big problem of mine, having somebody come and let my dog out.
Right.
That was a privilege, though, and I made sure to clean up after my dog. Same thing. If you're going to have a rider with you, make sure they're doing it the right way.
Yep. And that being said, too, if you're bringing a young child that is required to be in a car seat in the car, they have to be in a car seat in the truck.
Yeah. Same thing. All right. Moving on to what's next. Put a note. How are we going to mitigate dumping in the wrong piles? Anybody have anything on that?
I think we came up with 3 fairly good ideas.
Okay.
Execution.
Yeah. For every time you dump in the wrong pile, we're going to cut a finger off.
Awesome.
Every time you haul the wrong material, we're going to cut another finger off.
That's why Scooby's missing half a finger. He dumped half his load in the wrong bin.
He couldn't ask for 1.5 inches. It just kept bugging him, so we helped him out.
No, the couple things we've talked about is, I don't know how we'll do it, but like a note on the dash, some type of thing that can put, we can switch between sand or rock or pea gravel or other or something to that effect. One of the big things that we will pull the trigger on is we've found some IFTA plates that are on hinges, some IFTA sticker plates that are on hinges, and we're going to hang that right in front of the pull valve for the tailgate. So when you get out to pull the tailgate to dump, it'll have a sticker on it that says, what material do you have on and are you in the correct bin? That way you're having to move that out of the way. It's the last leg of defense to be standing there going, oh shit, I'm in the 3/4 bin and I got 1/2 inch this time, or whatever the case may be, right? And then we were looking at possibly a sign, getting another sticker for the front of the trailer. So when you look out the back window, in case you missed the one when you opened the tailgate, that, again says, are you dumping the right material in the right spot or bin or whatever the case, however we're going to word that, right? That's the purpose of it. So those are kind of the 3 things we've talked about for now. And then I was kind of thinking, and I hadn't mentioned it, it came up just this morning as I was looking at one of my notes, maybe a picture at the back of the trailer, another little sticker that shows a picture of what we keep asking about. Are your dogs cammed over? A picture of that as a sticker. And then the question, are they cammed over, with an arrow pointing to look under the fender, is kind of something that crossed my mind for. Now that's not dumping in the right spot, but that's if your dogs are cammed over.
Sure.
Because I think that's a lot like our axle gauges. We don't know what that means. You know what I mean? Even though we've done a video on it, just like we've done a video on the axle gauges. But anyway, yeah, those are a few things. And then we're also talking about putting a sign at Coors that just reminds you, in addition to that sticker on the trailer, that asks, have you made sure your tailgate dogs are cammed over? So a couple different things there as far as cammed over and dumping in the right spot.
Yeah. Yeah. Dumping the wrong material in the wrong bin. I mean, that's just something that is preventable, but we're going to make it more preventable. It's just a pain for us. It makes us look bad. Costs money. It's expensive.
And it's avoidable.
It's avoidable.
It's 1,000% avoidable.
Yeah. Yeah. If one person dumps in the wrong bin one time, it doesn't seem like a big deal. But when people take turns doing that, it ends up looking pretty
It's bad. We're having a rough year with it, and
Yeah.
it's not flying.
Yep. All right. Safety topic of the week is actually tailgate latches and linkages. Okay. As Brother Dave mentioned, we do have a video of what it's supposed to look like when your tailgate latches are cammed over and the linkage is touching the bottom of your trailer. That's super, super important. If you just look from the outside and your tailgate latches are over the dog ears, I mean, that looks like it's working, right? But underneath the fenders is really where we need to look to make sure that linkage is in the correct position and has enough pressure and torque and is in a locked position to keep those tailgate latches down. Otherwise, your tailgate can pop open, specifically when hauling cores, because there's so much pressure against the tailgate. Typically, if you get loaded with rock, it's off the tailgate or there's not, material moving onto the tailgate, so it doesn't really happen. But yeah, it's a problem. So we're going to have to
go to work on it.
Yep, go to work on it. Exactly.
And where do you find the videos at, Jim?
Believe that video is in Knowledge Base. I don't know if you could take a look there, Jim.
And is that in the Connect?
It's in Connect, yeah. Should be, let's see.
Can that be sent out with a must read?
Yeah, so Gate Latches Cammed Over is the name of it, Jim. So did you find it?
I didn't.
Okay, so just for everybody to know, when you go to your home screen, hit Assets, and then you'll see Communication and then Operations. And in Operations, there's a tab or a button called Knowledge Base. And then you hit that. You tracking, Jim?
No.
Yeah, I got it. Jim, Gate Latches Cammed Over.
Yeah. Where are you at, Jim?
I didn't go to Assets. Okay.
There you go.
Yep.
Yeah, right below Operations. It's the first, where to go?
Yep.
Knowledge Base. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a tutorial on the DVIRs, there's the driver manual, there's the dairy locations, all this stuff is in here. There's the gross weights and axles if you have any concern there. Gate latches cammed over, like what I just asked about, you guys. So pretty simple to find there, you guys. When I open my screen up, just like these guys just said, you go into Assets, and then there's the big block letters of Communications, and then under Operations is where that's at. So
yep.
I suggest, had a conversation with somebody about what do the dogs look like when they're cammed over. And they said, I don't know. And I said, well, there's a really good video that JR did. And they told me, well, they watched the video. They'd seen the video. Well, then what the dogs are when they're cammed over. And I think that's important to, go back and review for anybody that's unsure. And the thing is you have to recognize when they're not. I mean, I think it's okay to recognize that they're cammed over, but what do they look like when they're not also?
Yes.
And I know JR put a block in there, showed that space.
Right.
Any kind of space. And I know you might not understand what I'm talking about with space, but if you watch that video, it's pretty evident on what that is. And we really, really need to review. And then I think the other thing along with the tailgate latches and linkage is there's still a certain amount of problem of people just not closing their tailgates,
right.
Leaving them open. We see them leave the yard, and it's probably a little bit better here with the warmer weather. But, there was several times during the winter here, the gates were just still open, and you hadn't done an inspection, you hadn't walked around your truck, or if you have, you really ignored one of the largest and important things there is.
Right.
Please, if you, especially if you're doing the Coors weekend thing, not only is it Coors and there's a lot of weight, but you're using other people's trucks, or you're preloading other people's trucks, or you're dumping other people's trucks. If I get in somebody's other vehicle, I definitely want to know that everything is okay on it. I just don't take somebody else's vehicle and blindly assume it's okay. I mean, that's you and other people out on the road. There could be an issue, and so please check your stuff out and make sure that tailgate's closed.
Yep.
When even if you got to get to Coors and you start it, but walk around that truck, check the latches.
Yep.
And then I also noticed, I know I've heard it several times on the radio, and I'm sure everybody's that's hauling Coors right now, you have to hold that start button in for just a few seconds before it kicks on. It's almost like they updated and it's more of a safety issue.
That's what I was going to say, Jim. It's got to be a safety issue.
Yeah, than just pushing the button and just firing right off. You have to hold it a little bit. And there is a switch there too to be able to turn the light on at the control panel. The two big lights at the chute aren't working. We're going to be checking onto that. And then also we ordered a new mirror. We're going to replace that mirror up there so it's not waving in the wind and a little clearer than the one up there. The one we found has a guard over it, so hopefully might stop a little bit of the grain splashing on it, but I know the splash happens when it hits the trailer. But yeah, please, if you're, and then if you're at the pit too, your tailgate possibly being open is not that big a deal. Somebody can holler at you, the loader can clean it up, you can get out, but coolers, you can't load without the tailgate being closed.
Yeah. Yeah, we had one pop on Saturday night.
Well, I don't mean to correct you, Jim. It never popped.
Oh yeah, that one didn't pop.
Open.
It was open. Yeah, you're right.
I mean, that's that's the thing.
Yeah.
I mean, they're and that's the importance of checking whether it's cammed over, right? We don't, because we've had them pop because they pop. They're not cammed over, but this was left open, and
you are
we all show up and it's fun. We all laugh, we joke, and but it is a lot of work. We
laugh and joke because the other option is to be pissed off.
Yeah.
We rather laugh and joke on a Saturday. Yeah. So it's 7:00 on a Saturday night when you have a core spill, right? Who comes to clean it up? We don't send a bunch of drivers out. Shout out to Fabian though, because Fabian did come and help when he brought another truck. So thank you, Fabian.
Oh, Jim.
Yep. But typically it's managers and owners out there with shovels, one shovel at a time, 20 pounds at a time, 5 to 8 tons of material, So yeah, we laugh and joke because the other option is just
to cry.
Is to cry. Yeah.
And that's also tough too. Like Dave said, all of us, we work all week. We do a lot of hours. So we plan things on the weekends.
Oh yeah.
And to try to get a group of us together that we don't have family things going on, or we don't have, a date or dinner or something like that, and be able to, all of us or most of us show up, to shovel. Because 1 or 2 guys, you're not going to get that cleaned up.
Oh, it is overwhelming. When you look at it, it's like, one bite at a time. It is a good, it's a good thing to learn how to be comfortable being uncomfortable and being faced with a big task and just, keeping your head down and grinding it out. So it is a good team building exercise, but we're already a team. We don't, we don't,
we don't need that practice, right?
Yeah,
we had to shovel. Yeah.
We've seen the whale on the ground. We know how to get rid of it as one bite at a time. And that's what you do.
Yeah.
Because we're pretty sure there was 5 tons. And I know, we thought more too, didn't we, Jim, when we tried to do it? Because we cleaned it up in about an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And that was 6 of us shoveling, taking turns and basically kicking its ass.
Yeah,
and the thing is, when it's there at the can, you can't get another truck under.
Nope.
So if that can's humming, we got a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we can't max out the can and shut coolers down.
No, that's the reason Fabian showed up, Dave.
Yeah.
He'd been out all day and we called him and he brought a truck around, and at the best, when there is a spill, you might be able to load just the back of it, but that's not helping. Like you said, Dave, can't get a load. It's in the way.
Yeah.
You just can't fix it. There was a big discussion about going and getting the skid steer,
right.
Making that choice.
Yeah.
We're like, man, it just takes so long. I think we can get it cleaned up. And we did, but yeah, a lot of people jumping in.
Yeah. You show up and you just see that pile and you're like, man, I'm glad I'm not by myself.
Right.
It would be, I'd still be there.
Oh, Jam, it's daunting.
Yeah.
Right. You see that pile and you're like, what on earth? How are we going to do this?
We're going to put that in there. And then keep in mind, we're shoveling up over your trailer.
Yeah.
So it's not like just moving, from one hole to another hole. It's up and above your head and into the trailer. So.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I showed up, I joked with these guys, I didn't even say hello to them. I just rubbed my shovel, and I said, sorry, baby, I told you were retired, and you're not, man. We got to get to work.
Oh, man. Yep. All right.
Just quick math. I mean, I know you guys said you think it was more than 5 tons, but if you just take 10,000 pounds, 5 tons, divided by a 20-pound scoop.
500?
Yeah, 500 shovelfuls.
That's why I think it was more than that.
Yeah, because we think we did more than 500.
Yeah.
I mean, because you do the 20, 40, 60, 80, and then you think about it. I don't know, because as we traded off, when I'd get tired, that's got to be like, don't you think it's
20, 30 shovels.
Yeah.
Some of us.
We traded off quite a bit.
Yeah. I mean, well, that's the nice thing about having, and that's the other thing. I mean, there's only so much room where you can put the grain.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's like, you get this little rotation going. It's an operation for sure. So,
So let's not do that.
Yeah. Unless you want to hang out with all the managers and, a couple of the owners on a Saturday night
And
shoveling grain. It's not good. So, all right. Tips and tricks with Armando the Sergeant Del Val. This is number 44. Titled,
he's getting close, isn't he?
Titled Highway 85. He's real close to number 45. Good morning, JFW family, and welcome back to another week of tips and tricks. Please remember, the purpose of these tips and tricks are just ways for us to be helpful, better, and safer drivers on the road. Let's be JFW professionals. Now that the spring is here and the summer is just around the corner, be ready for four-wheelers and motorcycles speeding on the road. So this applies for every road we come across, but I'm going to talk about Highway 85 and the things we should watch out for during long hours and more loads. Almost everyone here knows how Highway 85 runs during spring and summer. Let's help those who haven't had much experience driving on Highway 85. Now, I know it sounds stupid because some of you are probably thinking, it's only a highway. What's so difficult about it? Well, for one thing, Highway 85 is ranked the third deadliest highway in Colorado. Last year, there had been 73 accidents on that highway from 104th to Wyoming. Almost every day, there's at least one accident on 85. A lot of us drive by an accident. Some of us witnessed an accident happen, and a few of us were involved in an accident. I'm so glad he pulled that stat. Because I was going to say, man, there's a lot of death on Highway 85, and then he's got the stats, which is amazing.
Clear to Wyoming. You forget that it runs clear to Wyoming,
right? And we got guys that go that way, and girls.
Yeah.
When we start getting really busy, we're really got to start watching out for our surroundings. Four-wheelers and bikers are going to come across us, and we got to make sure that we can see them. When merging back to the right lane, watch your mirrors because those bikers will move over before we can get a chance to move right. Almost about everyone driving there is going to be speeding. Some will even go up to 90 miles an hour. Be careful merging into lanes. If possible in the mornings, just try to stay to the right lane when there's a lot of traffic on 85 and in the afternoon. Remember that while we're driving to get off our first load, everybody else is driving to get to work. They're going to be speeding, driving and staying on the left lane, and they're going to be impatient. Let's not try to cut anyone off last second because a car or truck in front is going slow. We don't always have to be in the front. For truckers that drive on 85 and feel that they need to always be in the front, just let them. Don't speed because you see another truck going 71 just to get in front of you. Try to remember that those other trucking companies that speed just get in front are in a higher risk of causing an accident. And also, they're not going to the same plan as us, so there's no need to feel that we had just got beat going to any of the pits. Also, my little side note, keep in mind they probably don't get a monthly safety bonus for doing it the right way and having a safety score.
Yeah.
Good point.
Yep. Watch for those stale green lights. We got to slow down when we're coming up to a stale green light. That light will turn really fast, and a lot of times it'll turn on you when you're approaching really close. For those that don't know, from 1/12 all the way up north, when a light turns yellow, it will stay on for 5 seconds before turning red. That doesn't mean try to beat the light. Let's slow down. We're approaching to a green light so that when we're really close to the light and it turns yellow, we can take it and make it through the light safely before it turns red. Let's listen to our company radios for any updates, road conditions, and possibly any other objects on the road. Let's not lose focus and just paying attention on what's in front of us. Look further up and see any hazards or vehicles pulled over on the shoulder. Try to move over safely. If we can't move over, let's slow down until we pass them. That is actually a law. If it's an emergency vehicle, if there's flashing lights, you either have to move over or slow down while going by them.
Yep.
I think to half the speed limit if you stay in that right lane. Remember, when summer comes, JFW isn't the only company running on 85. Every single trucking company out there is going to be running on 85. This isn't a race to see who can get any of the pits first. Cars and bikers are going to be speeding and drivers are going to be impatient. That includes truck drivers. Lastly, I want to say, if there's a driver who is struggling on what material goes where, or what route to take to a pit or plant, or just struggling with anything like that, entering your ticket or reading your ticket, ask for help. Lately, we've been making a lot of mistakes and continue to make them when they've already been addressed multiple times. If you ever need help or advice, please send me a message through Connect, and I could try my best to help you. Please let me know on Connect Team what you think about this week's tips and tricks. Thank you all again for listening and the positive feedback. Let's start doing things the JFW way. Until next week, Armando the Sergeant Del Val, 0073. Together we can be better.
Love it.
Yep. Great job, Armando, as always.
It's a great one. I want to reiterate, though, too, about not running in the left lane. I mean,
it's so funny, Jim. I was just letting him finish. I was going to do the same thing. Go ahead, because I have a story about it.
Yeah, because it's just, I mean, I even coming in the mornings, there's a couple of freight companies, and I'm sure, you guys, you fight it every day, but the one freight company, and I just run into him because it's the same time I'm coming in the morning, or me and Dave are coming in, but he turns at 104th, but he jumps over into that left-hand lane miles before 104th, 120th or 136th, and he sits out there. Man, everybody gets upset and cutting around him and going around him, and it's a slow truck, just like our trucks, and it's so obvious because there's not a lot of traffic, so everybody can zoom around him, and he could just stay in that right lane and cruise all the way down, put his turn signal on, and get over to 104th and make his left-hand turn, and I think it's a hard concept to understand that you're not going to get that much farther, passing our own truck, somebody else's truck. I mean, the thing that might happen, and we've all had it happen, is, let's say, talking about 104th, let's say you pass somebody, you're 2 truck lengths ahead of them, and you do make the light, and the other truck has to start. Well, or stop. That does make a pretty big gap, right? You made the light. Okay. There's the difference. A cycle of a light. That's all it is, but if you get caught at the light, I had a guy the other morning that I raced to, I raced to work. He raced to every light, and then the light changed. I caught up with him. He took off, and I'm talking personal vehicles. I'm talking cars. Right. And I'm just like, oh my God, buddy, you're not gaining anything. Yeah. So yeah, and please. And I believe we had a call in, didn't we, Jim?
Yeah.
Yesterday where was that? Was it 85 again?
Yep.
Yeah. And I'll let you tell a little bit about the call in, but man, stay out of the left lane. It just makes people feel better.
Yeah. Yeah. We had a call in yesterday. A gentleman was upset because we had a few JFW trucks in the right lane. The driver he called in on was in the right lane, and at some point changed lanes into the left lane, somewhere around Bromley Lane, approaching Brighton, and then all the way to Fort Lupton, he stayed in that left lane to go to Ragsdale. And the caller was pretty upset. He didn't mention that he got in front of our driver and brake checked him a little bit. But I pulled, we talked to the driver last night just at my desk. I was like, hey, you had a call in yesterday. A couple things you want to make sure you do is make sure you're signaling 4 times, doing all the things we taught you about, safety has no blind spot, but then also just use the left lane for passing. And his response, he's like, oh, I was just being prepared to turn into Ragsdale. He's like, maybe I just did it too soon. And I was like, yeah, you don't need to do it 5 miles before you get to the pit, especially on Highway 85.
Yeah. And like I'm talking about, the road truck, it's a freight truck, and it is a set of doubles, so there is changing lanes, and, he's getting over when there's no traffic around, everything he's doing safe, but except for backing up that left lane when he could just wait. And I think a lot of people that travel 85 know that we're going to make a left-hand turn someplace if we're northbound.
Right.
I really believe they'll let you over.
Yeah.
And of course you're still going to run into the guy that's, not paying attention or just doesn't want the truck in front of you.
Yeah.
But I think you can do it. I don't know what the distance is, Jam, a mile, less than a mile, half a mile, whatever, and sometimes it's just judging the traffic around you.
Yeah. I mean, typically, and I don't get out there very much, but if I'm going to Ragsdale, I'll think about moving after County Road 18 to go to Fort Lupton. You know, that's a good place to think about changing lanes.
Yeah.
You don't need to do it before that.
Yeah.
Especially because, is there a light there? Is there a light there at 18? I think there's a light at 18. If you get into the left lane before that, you might get caught in that light, and now you're just backing up people.
Sure.
So.
And you're talking about Ragsdale when you're going to Ragsdale.
Yeah.
Because you have to turn at 18 on to get to Fort Lupton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if I'm going to Rags, I would get in the left lane after I pass 18.
And the thing
it's not bumper to bumper traffic up there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And they recognize that I know, like, oh, this truck's in my way. Oh, it's changing or it's getting out of the way.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
I mean, it's the same theory as southbound I-25 because you need to catch 270, getting in the fast lane at 120th.
Right.
But it doesn't make sense.
Right.
You're going to piss a lot of people off. That's what, last Thursday, Sam was in town and we went fishing down south. So we drove down to Monument. And you guys, we got behind a gravel hauler, independent guy. Well, not an independent guy. They have like 20 trucks. And that guy was in the fast lane. We ran into him in traffic, caught him in traffic. We were in the middle lane at maybe I-25 and University. He never got out of that fast lane. He stayed in it the whole freaking way until we finally got off at Monument. He was in the left lane. So all those hills down through there, he would drag way down, pulling the hills. And then, man, he was bombing. He was 75 miles an hour at least coming down them and just pushing cars and riding ass. And I'm just like, Sam was driving and he doesn't have that experience. And he just looks at it and he goes, that's just not safe, is it? Why would you drive like that? Why is he staying in the he had all these really great questions to me. And I'm just like, yeah, he's an idiot.
Well, son, he's just doing the old dragonfly. Drag him up, fly him down.
Yeah.
Never heard of that
I hadn't either. And it looks so bad, and I almost wanted to call the company and I probably should have just to go, hey, I don't have a complaint. But has anyone told you how bad this looks? Because your guy's pissing a lot of people off, because they're pissed off when they go around. You know what I mean? They are slowed down going up that hill because he can't go up that hill. I mean, at one point, you guys, he was coming so fast downhill as we started up the other side, he ran right up on the car's ass and had to jake going uphill and got wasted. And then, 5 cars took the opportunity to blast around him. And I'm just like, at what point, as you're a driver, don't you see that?
Right.
Why don't you feel that pain or misery? Put yourself in their position and just eliminate it, avoid it. When he gained nothing, we ran together for miles upon miles upon miles, and it was actually entertainment for us. It was entertaining. I'm like, man,
and I gotta, point out that's against the law.
It is.
The left lane is for passing.
Yeah,
you'll get a ticket for it.
Yep.
Yeah, they've ticketed us on 85.
Absolutely.
And I-70. Yeah, both of them.
That's a good point, Dave.
What do you think, Soup? Want to hit us with that HRH?
And I got to back up. Why do you guys think they've ticketed us for that?
Because it makes people mad.
And they've gotten so many complaints from the public.
Yeah, we're holding up traffic.
Yeah.
And, that guy, he just has the, F you attitude. He doesn't
It's a total selfishness.
Totally selfish.
Absolutely.
I'm just worried about me, nobody else.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so many times, the right lane is pretty open.
Especially down there.
Yeah, because everybody rushes to that fast lane.
The right lane is the new fast lane.
It is sometimes, man. You get
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been that way a long time going up north, when it was just 2 lanes going up to Fort Collins. And, man, that left lane was bumper to bumper, and the right lane.
Dude, 90 miles an hour on the right.
Yeah, but, you could set your cruise maybe 5 miles an hour, over the speed limit, because everybody in that other lane's trying to go 90.
Oh, yeah.
And just chill out.
Yeah, that's been my hack lately. Just even at low speeds, 45 miles an hour, I just set my cruise.
Yep.
Because otherwise I'll do 52 and not even realize it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, that's the positive side. That's thinking positively right there, And I just, there's so much in everyday life that can slant towards the negative, right? It can bring you down. So I want to talk about the ultimate rule of positive energy. Okay? Your positive energy and vision must be greater than anyone's and everyone's negativity. Your certainty must be greater than everyone's doubt. There will be even people who don't want you to succeed because it makes them see their own weaknesses and failures. So rather than paying attention to their own business, they're trying to ruin everyone else's. So that's how important your positive energy is. One day is not enough. It's got to be a habit. Positive energy is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. The stronger it gets, the more powerful you become. When someone comes at you with negativity, you will be able to respond with strength and positive energy. Just as you become a more skilled golfer by playing more often, you also develop the skill of positive energy by practicing. The more you do it, the more natural it becomes. So grow it and build it, and so you have the power to overcome the negativity. That's how it works. That's the key. If you're having trouble focusing your vision and direction, try using a small rock as a reminder. Hold it in your hand or keep it in your pocket and look at it often. Use the rock as a reminder of the power within you. When you feel overrun by negative energy or any of those negative energy vampires, as we say, unlock the value in yourself by thinking of that value in the rock. Let it help remind you of your vision, direction, and focus on positive thoughts and energy. Feed the positive dog inside you. And the quote this week is, if you have a positive attitude and constantly strive to give your best effort, eventually you will overcome your immediate problems and find you are ready for greater challenges. And that was spoken by Pat Riley, retired NBA coach and executive, which I think he still is an executive for.
What was the basketball team?
He was a Lakers coach, Pat Riley, for many, many years.
Yeah, didn't they just celebrate him? Or am I getting mixed up with somebody?
I mean, he won like 5 championships too. I mean, he was the dude.
Yeah, because dark black hair, a thin
was always combed.
back.
Yeah,
I just watched
combed,
a deal on him.
Yeah.
Was he ever the Knicks coach?
I'm not sure, but I know he was a Lakers coach for a long time. But it's so easily said and harder to do. But every situation that rubs you the wrong way or is just flat out bad, bad energy, bad negativity, you can stop yourself in your tracks and change your attitude about it. You can think of another alternative of outlook, right? And it's just really hard to do in the moment, but everybody can do it. And boy, that can change any situation around. If not, make you feel better.
So Pat Riley was the head coach of the LA Lakers 81 to 1990. And then he was the coach for the New York Knicks 91 to 95. And then the Miami Heat 95 to 2008.
Yeah, I think he's in the front office of the Miami Heat.
Okay.
He's not completely retired now, but yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, in Los Angeles, they just did the statue out in front. The Los Angeles Lakers unveiled an 8-foot, 510-pound bronze statue, a Hall of Fame coach, Pat Riley, February 22nd, 2026.
Wow.
So
just the other day.
Mm-hmm.
Currently the president of the Miami Heat.
Wow. There you go.
So still involved, still doing it.
You guys were all right. Everyone of you.
Yep.
Had a little bit of history on Pat.
For not really being basketball guys, you guys did pretty good.
A little NBA
pretty
trivia.
Impressed.
Yeah, I think the positive energy, Dave, some of my final thoughts was, if you can think how bad it is on everything and what the worst is, why can't you just train yourself to think how good things are?
Right.
Like that muscle you mentioned in there, training it like a muscle. We just talked about that, shoveling the trailers.
Yeah.
And I know that, like JM said, we don't need a team building exercise because we're already a team.
This is the rock.
The coin. Yes, absolutely, Dave. Good point. The coin. But I couldn't imagine, I know to show up and shovel, it's going to suck, but I know it is going to be fun. I mean, I just know there's going to be smiles and not fun shoveling. It's just going to be okay.
We're going to make fun of people.
Yeah. Yeah. We're going to
each other.
Yeah. And we're all going to work.
Yeah.
It's not like somebody's going to be standing around. You know what I mean? And I guess that's the positive about it. But cause really, Jam, could you imagine showing up and everybody being mad to do that?
I think it would be much harder and take twice as long.
I'm guilty of being mad before.
Yeah.
Yeah, when it's real cold out, and I mean like real cold and there's a spill, like I show up a little grumpy. It takes me a little while to warm up.
I think too, you guys are mentioning, it's just as easy to be appreciative or in a happy mood, versus pissed off, right? And or the positive versus the negative. And I think one of the things that what I run into is that negative issue you're dealing with, it was a slap in the face. And what I mean by that, not literally a slap in the face, but it's like it hits you up alongside the head, like you got to go deal with this.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's nothing good about what's happening.
Oh,
it's an issue. We've had a problem you got to deal with. Where on the other side of the coin, the positivity is that beautiful flower you just walked past. It didn't jump up and smack you in the face and you got to do something with it. You just have to have the mindset to look and go, enjoy it. That's a beautiful flower. I should take a picture of it and send it to my wife. And I guess those are kind of the differences for me. Like, and I, it's a struggle for me. I get sucked into the negative big time, right? You're just consumed by it, but it's a constant slap in the face of this problem, that problem, this issue, that thing. And, so many people have trained themselves so well that, hey, this isn't a problem. This is an opportunity to get better. I mean, there's all the ways to look at it. You just have to have that mindset to do that.
A couple good things about the most recent spill was, one, it was warm out.
And it wasn't hot either, Jay.
But not too warm.
No, yeah.
Number two, the spill was all in the same place, not stretched out.
Yeah.
50 yards down the road.
And then, we got to hang out with, some of our valued teammates, people that we know and love at work. And it was
kind of like looking at it. And I know, because you're right, Jim, about not being, you still got a little attitude about it. You still bring your attitude about it. But I really wouldn't know that when you're working with you, right? You got it internal. And Dave, like you're saying, is, you got to walk past that beautiful flower and you could just enjoy it. I guess that's what I'm saying too. In this situation, you just got to enjoy shoveling.
Yes.
Which we generally do.
Right.
I mean, I'm just telling you, having that positive mindset in those situations is like, you just got kicked in the balls and you got to be happy.
That's what but that's that muscle. That's what I mean.
I know.
We all have a choice, and I'd rather work with you guys that make that choice, that let's get it done.
Yeah. We talked about it the other day when we get a picture, when Connect Team comes across on a weekend with a picture. It's kind of like, do I want to open that up? Well, I have to open it up. You know what I mean? And then the other positive thing about the other day is I hadn't made it to the gym. So, there was some cardio, you know what I mean? So that was cool. Intermittent cardio.
I got a little bit of cardio and one bicep that's bigger.
Is that your final thought, Jim?
Yeah, my one bicep's bigger. It's hurt for 2 days. Just being I mean, again, sometimes all our stuff goes together, that positive energy, but I think if you can, and that's was part of the shoveling part, if you can be so mad and create that in your head, why don't you create the positivity and just get done? Just let's get it over with. It's not helping anybody.
Either way, you're going to shovel.
I mean, it was like Fabian, he worked all day long, asked to bring another truck in and, all that stuff. And he started to shovel and, he looked at me and you and he goes, I'm too big to be shoveling, man. This is like doing asphalt work again, you know? And that's just with a smile on his face. Yeah, I know he didn't like it.
Talk about a positive guy.
Yeah, but he didn't walk around pissed off every shovelful.
Oh, no.
No. That was a great thing. Yeah. Thanks, Fabian. It was awesome.
BD?
Yes.
Do you have a final thought?
I have a lot of thoughts right now.
Just reeling you back in here, buddy.
I appreciate that. I was staring into my final thoughts, to be honest with you, because I kind of got to not slide into them, but a lot of the little issues we've talked about today, right? The dumping in the wrong bin, the hauling the wrong material, the not checking to make sure your tailgate's closed before you load at Coors. The little things like that. I try and always ask the people, when we have those situations, what were you thinking? What what was going through your mind, or were you just not paying attention, or were you on the phone? We always try and educate ourselves, like, okay, this is what this person was doing, so let's talk about it with everyone else to make sure they don't do that, right? That's the scenario, is educate yourself and try and spread that change. And, I finally just searched, why do people not do things at work? And this guy immediately comes up, and he's got 3 pretty simple reasons, why people don't do things at work. And the number one is simple. They don't know how to do it. They don't know what they're doing, right? Like possibly we talked about adjusting or calibrating your load gauges, right? Even though we've sent a video, there's still people that don't know how to do it, right? And I guess we just continue to monitor that and try and talk about that and try and educate about that. Kendrick would do a class about it, and JR has a video on it, and I guess still ultimately it's up to the employee to do that. They have to learn how to do that, and again, we're all here to help. I would love to have someone call today and go, I've watched that video. It doesn't make a bit of sense to me. Can you walk me through it? And we try figuring that out. So the second option they have on there is that they don't believe it can be done. They don't believe, I'm making up. They don't believe they can drive somewhere and not speed, maybe. I don't know. I'm making that part up, right? But that's the second thing, is they don't believe it can be done. And I think we've ran into that before, where people don't believe something can be done. And it's like, well, wait a minute. We've got like 90 people doing that.
Right. I think the safety scores, right? Dave,
yeah.
If there's a
example. Good analogy, Jim. Yeah. Efficiency score. Yeah. Well, they don't run this. Well, yeah. 9 other of them do. They're getting the efficiency score, so it can be done, right? And then the last one, it's just the toughest one to swallow, and it's just that they don't care. And this guy that has this little video is like, I can't really help you with that. This is probably a member of your team you may need to look at not having on your team anymore. So I guess those are kind of the 3 reasons. And he goes, we have done a lot of studies. He said, we've done a lot of things, invested in a lot of businesses, challenged a lot of people. And these are the 3 main reasons we run up with, is that the employee doesn't know how to do it, which, we pat ourselves on the back thinking that we do a pretty good job training, but maybe not good enough. Maybe that employee doesn't believe it can be done, and maybe we need to coach him into the fact that it can be, but there's not much we can do if that employee doesn't care.
Yeah, I was going to add a 4th one, and that's they just don't want to do it. Not caring.
It's almost the same as not caring, right, Jen? Yeah.
Yeah, but I think listening to you say that, Dave, none of us take that as a real reason, though, because we try to fix it.
Right.
We're driver support. Call us on the phone. We have JR in orientation. We have Super Dave, in the beginning of the job doing an interview. We have the safety team. We have dispatch. We have all these points where we don't give up on you. And we take it, to me, sometimes way too far, where, like the gentleman said in the video, Dave, it's just that person's not part of the team. Yeah. And maybe it's just not the job for you, and that's the reason you don't care. But to have somebody, none of us don't understand what it means not to care. And when you don't understand that, it's very hard to deal with that. Because no matter what we do, we care. We may not like it, but we care. And that's what makes us all different, or all a good team, is, we talk about it. To be a grinder, you have to care.
Right.
You have to have that piece where you're going to get it done. And then, we all try to do it happily.
Yep. Sorry about that. I was just thinking something similar. Sometimes we have teammates, there's friction. We're trying to get something done, and there's friction. But when they care, when they both care, and they just have a different viewpoint, but they want the same thing for the better of JFW, it's like, you can't really be mad at either one of them. You know what I mean? It's like, we just got a whole bunch of people that care and very passionate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And but it's also, we try to help. Is there something to get you to care? What do we need to do?
Right. Yeah.
How do we, it's like listening to the podcast, it's safety tips. It's about the gauge. It's about the camming, the shutting your tailgate, being cammed over, all the safety tips we've just touched upon, Highway 85, the tips and tricks. I mean, all that stuff is so important, but you won't listen. Right. You won't take, and we've all kind of, I know it hasn't on purpose, but we've kind of shortened this. We haven't had a guest on for a while. We're doing about an hour and a half, right, Jam?
We're right on track for that. Yep.
So, it's not a whole lot of time out of your day, and then take a simple test to get money. We're paying you because we care.
Yep.
And yeah.
I mean, I think you guys would all raise your hands if I said, raise your hands. All you guys raise your hands in this room if there's things on here that you need help with. There's probably nothing on here we need help with, right? I mean, we're doing this to help everyone,
right?
Not ourselves.
Right.
We know the drill.
Yeah.
Right? We've been here a minute. We've hauled a load or two. We've done a thing or two. We're not doing this to benefit ourselves. We're doing this to benefit you.
Yeah, we've all been drivers here at JFW.
Yeah, absolutely. We've all done this. Yeah.
So, well, are you done with your final thought there, Mr.
Yeah.
Brother
I'm
Dan?
not gonna harp on it. I just found it interesting.
Do you guys all know who Rob O'Neill is?
No.
Rob O'Neill is a Navy SEAL. I believe he was the one who took out bin Laden.
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
I didn't know that was his name, Jim.
Yeah.
I mean,
So anyway, he's a motivational speaker now. I just got a little short thing.
So no saint quote this week?
No. I mean, I have a phone full of them, but we're going to go with the Navy SEAL quote.
I love it.
I got to tell you, man, I think I went through Buds when I was 22. So you were close to 3.
This ain't it. This is it. What the? Are you?
It might have been a good one, though.
I got to re-find it.
I know I ran across, and I don't know which, whether it was the bin Laden, because there's so many things like what's the Black Hawk Down and the 23 hours, and there's so many things where they celebrate our heroes. And just if you find it, Jim, just say something.
I got it.
Oh yeah, I was just kind of filling some air.
Oh,
I just ran that around. They're interviewing this guy, and he says the toughest guy I ever know is the one guy, and I guess he stepped. Is it an IUD? No,
IED.
Yeah.
And anyway, he's got all this shrapnel and all this other stuff, and he's drugged this one person across back to get help. And then he tells the other Marines helping him, no, I don't need help. And the reason he says he doesn't need help is because he wants him to go help other people. And he drags himself over there. And the guy said, he's got this hole, that hole, and he dies like 7 times on the helicopter or some ridiculous thing getting back. And how do you become that hero, of I'm okay. I mean, guy knew he was going to crawl back.
Some people have trained for that, though, Jim. The guy who spoke for Victor Marx,
yeah,
he was in them 13 hours on Benghazi Strip. And there was somebody there that was like, I'm going to stay. And he's like, no, you can't stay. You go. I've trained for this.
Yeah.
This is my job.
Right.
I'm destined for this moment.
Yep.
And he stood there and fought for freedom for 13 hours straight.
Yeah. Trained my whole life, basically.
I mean, Jim, when they listed the awards the awards his uncle.
His grandfather.
Yes, his grandfather had. I didn't even know you could get multiple Purple Hearts and
silver
stars.
Yeah.
And didn't he have 2 bronze stars? I didn't know you could get that many. I thought once you had a Purple Heart, you had one.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, what a badass. But anyway, yeah. I mean, it was who he was.
Yeah.
So.
All right. You guys ready?
Yes.
All right. Let's see if I'm ready. Hope so.
After day for 8 straight months. And that sounds like a lot to get from now to 8. Never quit.
That's funny.
SEAL. It's because no one really knows what a Navy SEAL looks like. The reason I got through it is because 99% of us, we're just people that just get it. Positive attitude. Wake up in the morning, be positive. Wake up, make your bed, do your thing on time. I had an instructor at SEAL training tell me this course is, regardless of what you've been told, this course is not impossible. People graduate. Look at me. I'm living proof. So I'm never going to ask you to do anything impossible, but I will make you do something very hard, followed by something very hard, followed by something very hard, day after day after day for 8 straight months. And that sounds like a lot to get from now to 8 months from now, but don't think about it that way. That's not how you achieve a long-term goal. I want you to do it like this. Wake up in the morning on time. Make your bed the right way. Brush your teeth, little victories. Make it to the 5 a.m. workout on time. Don't think about the pain. Concentrate on your next goal, which is breakfast. After breakfast, make it to lunch. After lunch, make it to dinner. After dinner, do everything you need to do to get back inside that perfectly made bed because you took the time in the morning to make your bed the right way, regardless of how bad today was, which it will be bad. Tomorrow's a clean slate, a fresh start, and when you feel like quitting, which you will, do not quit now, quit tomorrow. That's life. He gave me great advice for life, too. And he also told me it doesn't matter what you look like, where you're from. If you keep a positive attitude, you can do anything you want. The best advice he gave me before Hell Week was, you're about to go to war for the first time. And your enemy is all your doubts, all your fears, and everyone you know back home that told you you weren't good enough to do this. Keep your head down. Keep moving forward no matter what. Never quit, and you'll be fine. I get told a lot I don't look like a Navy SEAL.
I just saw that last week, Jim.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I didn't realize that's who it was, that he'd killed bin Laden.
It is disputed.
Oh, okay.
He says he fired the shots that killed him, but it's disputed. He was on the team that night that got him, though, for sure, 100%.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Because I saw a different interview, if it's the same guy.
Redhead?
I mean, I just don't remember because I'm pretty sure he was being interviewed by, I want to say it was Jocko that was interviewing him.
Could be.
Is Jocko the one that does the interviews where he's sitting in the armchair, and they're kind of just in a chill setting? Is that
Sean Ryan.
That's it. Yeah. But anyway, he did an interview with that guy.
Doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's disputed. The U.S. government has never officially named a single shooter,
Oh, sure.
a single individual shooter. Other team members suggest that multiple operators fired at the same time.
Sure.
So, I mean, either way, he was on the team that got it done for sure, 100%. So
I'm thankful for those people.
Yeah, me
Thankful
too.
for our military.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thankful
And
for our freedom.
And the thing about it too is you see the people for the SEALs and all the different stuff, and they're really, if this is the right word, they're unassuming people. They're not big, or they're not really muscular. They don't look really fast, or they're just ordinary people that can.
Well, that's
get
what
it in.
the beginning of the video was cut up. He's like, people don't believe I'm a Navy SEAL because I don't look like a Navy SEAL.
What does a Navy SEAL look like?
You're right.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. They're just it's just me and you.
Yeah.
That's something that's kind of great. You have to, one of the things with Armando doing our high road hauling, he's at week 44. He's a warrior.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's our Navy SEAL getting it done. And, he's stayed in the military so long, he's going to get to retire this year. And I'm so proud of him. Just, Armando, thank you for fighting for us, man. Thank you for being here at JFW and, continuing to do the high road haulings. You're a superstar.
Dave does those.
I'm sorry, the tips and tricks. Sorry.
Yeah, that's fighting on both fronts, Dave.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the good point.
Who else have we had do that many tips and tricks? Exactly. That's my point.
Yeah.
So thanks, Armando. Keep up the good work.
Yeah, the last guy didn't keep record, so we don't really know how many he did.
Yeah. Ray?
But Mondo's very consistent. And he's getting them to me earlier, which I like.
Nice.
Yeah, that's
But
cool.
whenever. I mean, the fact that he kept sending them the whole time he was out on leave.
Right?
Yeah,
Outstanding.
that to me says everything about his character.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, how many times was he at home at night and been like, I really don't feel like doing a high road hauling. I'm not even working.
Yep.
So
yeah, easy to quit environment.
Yep. All right, let's say the creed and get on out. But don't forget to like and subscribe to the Channel 23 podcast. Hit that follow button. Let's say the creed and get on out.
Together we face and overcome all that stands before us. Together we are accident free. Together we joyfully create honest value for those we serve. Together we celebrate our differences and respect those with whom we work. Together we are accountable for our words and our actions. Together we are the JFW family.
All right, everybody. Thanks for listening. We'll catch you next week.
Thanks, everybody.
I see those big, bright, shiny red trucks just a trucking down the road. Those big, bright, shiny red trucks just a looking for another load. Well, it's a family tradition, any Rocky Mountain day. Our fathers before us showed us the way. We worked for asphalt cowboys and concrete kings, but that's never been a problem, 'cause we got diesel in our veins. We've got diesel in our veins. I see those big, bright, shiny red trucks just a-trucking down the road. Those big, bright, shiny red trucks just looking for another load. I hear there's a couple million tons to move. I see them everywhere. So you best get out their way and watch that sand and gravel disappear. There's another run to make. We gotta get it there on time. And we got what it takes to lay it all out on the line. We'll lay it all out on the line. I see those big, bright, shiny red trucks just a-trucking down the road. Those big, bright, shiny red trucks just looking for another load. Those big, bright, shiny red trucks got the best drivers in town. They got all the tools they need to keep that hammer down. When they hit them scales, they won't need to dodge them, won't need to duck them. They just keep that hammer down, and they keep that diesel trucking. Keep that hammer down, and keep that diesel trucking. I see those big, bright, shiny red trucks just a-trucking down the road. Those big, bright, shiny red trucks just a-looking for another load. They just keep them doors a-closed, keep them butts in their seats, 'cause those customers are calling, and those red trucks can't be beat. They've gotta put the hammer down and pick up another load. Get it off the ground, keep them eyes open and on the road. Keep them eyes open on the road. I see those big, bright, shiny red trucks just a-trucking down the road. Those big, bright, shiny red trucks just looking for another load. Breaker 23, anybody got a copy on that Channel 23 podcast? Welcome, and thanks for listening.